This is dot 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 dot. Also known as Mike Muir from Suicidal Tendencies. And you are watching Stormbringer, the Austrian heavy zine. Suicidal motherfucker.
So, Mike, nice to have you here in Vienna. When was the last time you were here?
I think it was 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, yeah, on the Persistence tour.
So this was when the last record 13 came out.
Yeah, right about that time. Yeah.
It was 2013, and 13 years before that, the last record came out. So there's the 13 reoccurring, which is reoccurring throughout your whole career. What's about the number? Is it sympathetic to you?
You know, in various places in the world, in America, people say 13 is a bad number, unlucky, and I think a lot of times to us it's just symbolism. People create monsters, you know. When you're little, you're scared of monsters under the bed or in the closet. They're not there, but you know, then you get older and you create monsters. And for us, people say it's bad luck. Why is it bad luck? You know, Friday the 13th. Something would have happened any other day, you'd go, damn, oh well, Friday the 13th, ah! So for us, we let's embrace the fact that, you know what, you have a lot more power over things than most people want to have. You know, I think most people don't want to have power control. They just want to feel sorry for themselves and say it's out of their hands, but we say it's in our hands. 13 is a great number. It's our lucky number.
Yeah, I live on the 13th floor, so couldn't be bad.
Well, it's funny because in a lot of places and every different Asia has different numbers or whatever, but you go, you know, 12, 14, you know, where's that 13th floor? You know what I mean? It's like really, you know, so you can't just make things disappear, you know, kind of, it's not there. Yeah. So, but yeah, I like 13. You know, it's always, something always happens and boom, it's like, look, 13 again. So I look at it good.
So you haven't had a record for 13 years, but you did a lot of touring in between. So do you think it's more important to tour a lot or to bring out records regularly, or is it both?
Well, for us it was a little bit different because I had a couple back surgeries, and so I didn't want to. Well, basically thought we were done and stuff, and I felt good about it. I was okay, didn't have any problems, and was living in Australia, and they have a festival called Soundwave, and got a call from a friend, said, hey, would you guys do the Soundwave? And I'm like, ooh, really kind of not doing any shows, and but it was Australia, my family's there, my youngest son, you know, never seen me play. And my wife was like, well, you feel all right, don't you? I'm like, yeah. And I said, okay, it's Australia, we'll try it. We did that, started getting calls to do other shows, and we said, we'll see how it is. And we didn't want to put a record out and make it look like putting a record out because I think you're going to break down and trying to get it out as fast as possible. So gave us the opportunity to tour around, get people to get reacquainted with us, so to speak. And so for us now, I think time has changed so much too, that the reason putting out records is a lot different than it used to be. And so basically the only purpose to put a record out is, you know, hopefully you put out something that you really like and put it out so that people can talk crap. You know what I mean? And,
if it's a bad record.
Well, no, they talk crap anyhow. You know, there's people that always hate Suicidal, that always will be. A friend of mine, he's in a pretty big band, was talking before we did the last record. And he goes, man, I'm never doing an effing record again. You got these motherfuckers talking shit. Here sucks, blah, 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 this and that. You're like, motherfucker, where's your address? I'll send you back the you know, how much did you pay? 10, 15 bucks. I'll send you back the money. I didn't buy it. You know, it's like, I don't buy records. It's like talking shit. So it's like, what do you find? I'm like, you know, that's the world we live in and stuff, you know. little, he goes, little kids, I would beat the fuck out of them, and he would, but it's just par for the course. You kind of chuckle, and that's the way it is. When our first record came out, everybody talks shit. Every record we've done, people have talked shit. Then the
Yeah, that's
first
what I
one,
wanted to say. Still, back in the 80s, the people were talking like,
yeah,
we're
always.
blending punk with metal and metal with
Yeah,
punk and
yeah.
everything.
The punk fanzines all said it sucked. Then years later, they said it was a classic, punk rock classic. So you sit there, and that's just par for the course. It's one of those things that's just life. People feel very powerful with one finger behind the internet and stuff. So you just kind of you chuckle and you laugh, and that's life. So.
But you're not a very big fan of Facebook and stuff.
No, I'm not, and I think it's like so many things. I think, well, two parts. One, the problem with when people talk about the major technology that's happened, it's not technology, unfortunately, and that's part of the problem with the direction that people are looking for is going forward. I think having like lived in Australia for many years and being away from your family, communication is important, but the problems that I see with people that have it is, on so many different levels. Well, they just had a thing. It was a humorous, but it's not humorous. More people died from taking selfies than from being shark attacks. You know what I mean? It's in England, they had a thing about how many deaths and attempted murders were based on people changing their Facebook status. There's all these little things to the point where, with my wife, some of her, friends, always the dramas with each other and stuff. Not with her, she stays out of that stuff, but, because people didn't like it or they didn't comment a nice enough comment on a picture and this and that. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I just think that it symbolizes the lack of reality that a lot of people have. They're more concerned with how a picture looks on Facebook, how a post is, rather than what they're actually doing. It's that fake smile. Yeah, everything's fine, rather than what's inside. So they try to create this world that doesn't exist based on these reality shows that are a bunch of fucking crap, and rather than sitting there on what's really important. So people don't like it. They get upset every time I say it. It doesn't come off well. There's purposes with things, I understand, but the bottom line is, if you feel like shit when you go to bed, something's fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Something's wrong. The things your system isn't working, and trying to, as my dad said a long time ago, way before any of that stuff existed, if you're trying to make everybody else happy, you're going to end up being miserable. So it's just it's what's important, and that's just not important to me.
So that brings me to a nice quote I read of you in some other interview. It says like, if everybody likes you, something's going wrong.
Definitely. I think so. I love music. There's a lot of things I love about music. There's a lot of things I hate about music. I appreciate what I like about it. I try not to reproduce what I don't like about it. I understand it's like food. I eat certain food, I love it. Other food I can't stand. But if there's something that I love and someone goes, that's disgusting, how could you eat it? I don't spit it out. It's like, well, I'm sorry you don't like it. I like it. I'm not convinced with trying to tell them that they should like it or something. And if there's
How we
something,
are.
and if something that I don't like, then I'm not going to sit there and someone, dude, that's the best thing ever. I don't like salmon. You could tell me it's great. I'm fine. Anybody else can eat it. I don't want to say that they can't eat it. I just don't like it. I have it. I wish I liked it. I don't. But I'm not going to change because of what someone else says. I think, unfortunately, music, it's not like food. We change according to our environments and situations like that, and shouldn't be. And I know that for me personally, I have an understanding where you hearing music when you're young, and a point then all of a sudden you hear something and you go, whoa, what is this? And it sits there. And when, it's like a bad example, people love the Beatles. I could probably, if you put a Beatles song on, I could sing along the words, but if you asked me to say one of the words, I couldn't say one word because they have no meaning to me, And I thought about that. But there's certain songs that, like, I remember just listening and going, whoa, and the words being so important to me and stuff. And just like having such a different meaning, where other ones, it's like I could hear the words, it just doesn't doesn't make a connection with me and stuff. So I understand everybody's different, and I think with suicidal, there'll always be people that will not understand, that won't understand, and probably shouldn't understand. And I'm fine with that. And there's a lot of people that are very upset because they'll see that there is a lot of people that do connect with it and they don't. So they have to say, well, they're wrong and I'm right. But I look at it as, as food. It's like, hey, we got a restaurant. Our restaurant's packed. People are enjoying it. You have your restaurant, eat your pizza, whatever, enjoy it, and we'll do our own thing.
Yeah, that's a cool approach to the things, because otherwise you can't survive for like 3 decades in the
No,
business.
but that's the whole situation. A lot of people do music like pizza. It's safe. Someone wants to eat. I'll have a piece of pizza. It's what it is and safe. We've never been a pizza person. We've always changed what we've done, doing things that's a little adventurous. And it's like I have 3 kids, and you see when kids, a lot of people's kids, they say, try this. I don't like it. You never had it. How do you know you don't like it? And you do this thing. Well, our kids, because they're, been all over and stuff, and or different nationalities and stuff in our families, they like trying things. If that's, oh, what is that? I want to try that, and it's a different approach. They may try to not like it, but they know that they've tried a lot of things that are good. And so there are a lot of people's parents will go like, how do you get your kids to eat that? Or how do they eat that? I'm like, gosh, how do you do that? And they're like, because it's something they want to experience and stuff. And so it's a different approach. We try to do things that, that challenge, that we think is important and has substance that's going to last a long time, rather than just do the pizza, which you just eat it and then you move on and it doesn't make an impression on you.
But that's how you learn to like things, by trying them, like music.
Well, I think that's how you learn also what you like, what you don't like. It's how you learn about yourself. And I think it's not just food. Food is just an example, but that's in life. You go out there and you sit there and you examine things. You just don't assume because you don't understand something that it's wrong. You know what I mean? You go to a different country, America's isolated, but you go to someone speaking a different language, they're not speaking nonsense. You just don't understand it. You know what I mean? So a lot of people have that like, well, they're not making any sense. They're making sense. They're just not making sense to you.
Yeah.
So you either learn the language or shut the fuck up, you know what I mean, type of thing. And I think that's the situation. A lot of times people are very quick to judge, but the way they judge is incorrect. And sometimes they need a little knowledge to go to a different way.
So now you're 52 years old. You have issues with your back, I know, with your health. The band was like a revolving door most of the years for musicians coming and going. You lost friends along the way. So what still keeps you going?
Well, we were a revolving door before we ever did our first record. There's dozens and dozens of people that I have no idea who they are, say they were in the band, before it ever came out. There was so many different people. And, some people say, oh, you know what, you shouldn't be able to change anybody. If we wouldn't have been able to change anybody, it would have been 1981 and never would have done anything. To me, it's different. Being in a band is different than marriage. You hope you stay married forever. My parents did. I'm very fortunate for that because they actually had a good relationship and do have a good relationship. But, just because you get married doesn't mean it's going to work out. And unfortunately, a lot of people doesn't work out. And unfortunately, a lot of times people never should have got married in the first place. But there are situations that you go, as time goes on, people grow. And it's not a statement of, I have some of my friends' parents. They're good people. They're just very different. Doesn't work. So I'm very different. It works. But as far as the back, I haven't had surgery. It was 11 years ago. And if I thought I'd have a problem, I wouldn't be here, And that's, I do things to make sure that I don't have any problems and stuff. But on the other side, there's a certain way that I do shows. And if I can't do it the way that I expect to do it, Suicidal is a very physical show. And if I can't do that, then that's when I'm going to stop, I'm not going to, not pick the bar stool and get the acoustic guitar and start singing Simon and Garfunkel songs. So Suicidal is what it is. And I think one of the things that the reason why I'm able to still be here almost 35 years later is because you have younger people that were, when they were 13 or 14, heard Suicidal and it affected them. And so they have a massive amount of excitement about being able to represent the band and stuff. And even in the original interviews, a lot of times there'd be people there and talking about we, and they're like, are they in the band? And it's like, nah, Suicidal is more than a band. And if someone comes up there and represents, I wouldn't be here if it was, like, Robert Trujillo and stuff, didn't get in the band. It's not because he's in Metallica now, but it was the way that he embraced the band, and the way that he embraced the band was doing it different than anybody else had done it and stuff. And that's what our first record was about. That's what we always approach. Whereas I think a lot of times with people with music, they do a record, and if they have some success, then they try to do the same thing with maybe one more ballad, you know what I mean, or one more commercial song.
So, this brings me to my last question. Can you show me probably how to fix this on my head properly? I think this is not the original one.
This
but
is Olivia Newton-John.
I don't know. It's the only blue one I had. I just don't get it how to put it up that way. So I would
X ones make it easier. X ones, but
yeah, I just had that one. I had a red one as well, but it wouldn't fit.
So just take one. This is a little folded, so. There you go.
Take care,
Wow.
so that you can make that at
so
home
you
as
get
well.
the X ones.
Yeah.
You get the X's.
I get some with X's and washed
yeah.
out like that.
But yeah, that's all folded, so it's all crinkly. But
So now I have to put it on.
yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But then 20 years ago it was like that.
Yeah, super low.
Yeah.
But
Why? You don't have to look people in the eye.
sometimes, yeah. There's a lot of stuff you don't want to see. I could see.
Yeah, you could see.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you like a bit higher. So thanks, Mike,
Cool.
for the nice interview and for teaching me how to put this on.
You make things happen, and that's the thing with Suicidal. We always say is make it happen, and you just can't run out in the middle of the street, but be smart, figure out what you need to do, embrace the obstacles, know what you're dealing with, figure it out, get a good plan, and then attack, simple as that.
Famous final word.
Fucker. Yeah,
Do it.
exactly.